come on down to Highbury, you can see Thierry Henry. He is the best player you will ever see. Thierry Henry. Now if you come on down to Highbury.
Hello and welcome back to From Dial Square to Where. This week I'm joined by George. How are you, mate?
Hey,
Is that it? Is that all you're going to say?
Yeah, sorry. It was cutting out. So.
No, it's great to have you back, mate. And have you been on my channel before, Steve? I don't know whether it's your debut on the From Dial Square to Where channel or not.
I don't think. I think I had a couple of invites, and for whatever reason, I had something else to do, like wash my hair or something, or go down the pub. But yeah, no, first time on, so appreciate it. Looking forward to it.
No problem. It shows how much high regard you hold the channel, really, to be honest. But it's great to have you here, mate. It's great to have you here. It's lovely. I haven't spoken to you for a few weeks, have we? We haven't done our normal show with Ryan for a little while.
Not since the end of the season, was it?
No, exactly. Well, we might be joined by Kunjan. He was supposed to be here, but unfortunately he's got some technical issues. He's got no power. There's a blackout in the area at the moment. So he might join us as soon as it's been sorted out. But we'll crack on. Although there's been no football, there's never-ending stories coming up in the summer. I've called the show the Mill of Rumour, just to change it a bit from the rumour mill. But I think we'll start off actually with non-Arsenal news, and that's the story that's sort of broken today that Tottenham are going to be signing Yves Bissouma. My first initial thoughts were, oh God, they're doing all the business, getting some good players in. But then all of a sudden I remembered about the situation surrounding Bissouma not long after, and I thought, well. And we've had a chat on WhatsApp about this, George, haven't we? About not wanting anyone with that sort of charge around their neck anywhere near our club. And it's totally right, and I totally agree with you. And I just wonder what they've done behind the scenes and what kind of reassurances they've got at that lot down the road to make them go ahead and sign the guy. I mean, what's your thoughts on it first, George?
Where to start? So I'm not one of these people having like the whole meltdown on Twitter or nothing. Like the world's not ended. Because Bissouma's signing for Tottenham. So just want to put that out there in case people didn't realise that after today. He's a good he's a very good player, but that's a big noose to have around your neck. What's going on at the minute? Like none of us know what assurances Tottenham have been given. He could be done for it, and if it is, Brighton are laughing, really. But if he doesn't, then they have got a good player on their hands. Everyone keeps saying to me, "Oh, we should have gone for Bissouma." That's great, yeah. But you can tell what sort of players we're going for with the targets we've been linked with. Like Bissouma is a number 6, where we have Thomas Partey when he's fit plays, and probably Sambi if he's going to play. So they was never. I don't honestly think they was realistically going to look in that position. And it's all right, people saying, "Oh, we were linked with them," but bloody hell, mate! Like I can't see, and we've been linked with about 250 players, and that's only in the last 4 days.
Yeah,
I'm waiting for Draxler to have his medical. Like that's how long ago all the many players we've been linked with. But 25 million is the last year of his contract as well. And I asked this question earlier on another group, and I got shot down about it. But I'll ask it again: if Bissouma is that great, why is teams like Manchester City, who desperately need a midfielder, and Manchester United not going for Bissouma?
Yeah, well, I think it's got to be down to the situation surrounding him at the moment.
I'm not saying support a classy club. I don't want to play like that.
Well, exactly. I'm totally with you on that. And until the situation is resolved, then he's going to have that hanging around his neck. And I don't know how it's been going on for an awful long time already, and I don't know how long it's got to go yet as well. until a resolution is found. But I just want to say, I've muted your mic, Steve, just because there's a lot of background noise coming through every so often. So I just muted it just to sort of stop that from going on. But what's your thoughts on the situation surrounding Basuma? I mean, I think we can all agree he's a very, very good player, but not the. It's with this situation he's got surrounding him at the moment, it's not going to be someone we want anywhere near Arsenal Football Club, is it?
Oh, I mean, I don't know the full ins and outs, but obviously there's something not quite right. If a player is that good, why do Palace want to let him go, and why do they want to let him go for 25 mil?
Brighton.
Brighton. And I think Premier League players come with a premium, don't they? It doesn't start at 25 million, does it?
To be fair, just on that subject, he's got a year left on his contract, so that's one reason why they're getting him a bit cheap. In a similar way to we're getting Tielemans for that sort of price.
Yeah, possibly, but I still think it's a bit odd. And as you say, is he the sort of player that we actually really need, and where would he play? And would he stop players like the Conga developing, which is what we really want? So I think we want players in other positions, and just because he's available doesn't mean to say that we have to go and buy him.
For me, on his day, Partey's better than him.
So I'm not losing any sleep about him going down the road. I don't think he improves them too much.
No. Well, from what you just said, I don't think when Partey is fit and firing and playing at his best, Basuma's nowhere near Partey.
That's what I mean. So, he ain't going to get you're not going to see a midfield of Partey and Basuma because Arteta don't play like that. So you have Partey does. Oh, is his name Partey now? Or is it Yakubu? I can't keep up now. A lot's happened in the last week. So, you ain't going to have Basuma's not going to get in ahead if Thomas Partey's fit. I don't care what anyone says for that.
No.
Because I've watched Basuma. Partey, all right, he hasn't been the great player that we thought we was buying. We've seen glimpses of it. But at Tottenham, you're telling me, but Højbjerg and Bentancur and all that are at the levels. I'll put it out there, and I'm not a fan, mate. I don't even think they're at the level of El Meni or Xhaka.
Who's that?
Bentancur or Højbjerg. So, and I do agree with what Steve said. I don't think he'll make them that great. And this is another thing: is why do Arsenal fans care so much who Spurs buy? They don't live rent free in my head like that. They could come buy Messi for but
yeah, I mean Richards put if Jesus is that good, why are City getting rid of him? Basuma would add quality to the squad and put pressure on Partey
because he wants to play regular football.
They could play together in certain away games. Well, he wants to leave because they've just brought in someone just a tiny bit better than him as well.
They just brought in one of the best young players in the world, strikers in the world. So that statement, that's like saying, why does in Barcelona, why did Messi want to leave when he was like their best striker? Because at the time Jesus, when he was playing, he was their best striker. And for me, I'd take Jesus like that, because for me, if you're scoring a goal in the semi-final of a Champions League, I think it's slightly a bit better than lack of threat or Edin and Nketiah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It was a hand in glove signing for me. Clubs want to get if players aren't going to sign a new contract with a year to go, then they cash in. Right? That's just a
generalisation. It's a World Cup, everyone forgets that. Jesus is playing in the World Cup. He don't want to be sitting on the bench, peeling Haaland's oranges, does he?
No, exactly. No one is disputing that Basuma is a good player. Under normal circumstances, if he was available and we could get him to add strength and depth to our squad, we could do that. We should do that.
He's meant to be an Arsenal fan, though, so he can't be, can he?
It's not the same. It's not a normal situation at the moment. So, under these circumstances, I I wouldn't want him. We've got more at Arsenal. We've got more class than that. We don't want players like that at the club who have got that hanging over their heads. It's not proven that he's guilty or anything yet because it hasn't gone through court or anything. But this has been going on for an awful long time, and it's got to be resolved. And
one thing I will say is Arteta, and it'll go back to Arteta, and I'll probably get pelters for it for being pro Arteta. I don't think Arteta wants people at the club that have trouble attached to them. Like, you go through it.
No.
Ozil he had trouble around it. Whether Arteta can deal with these situations better, that's a debate for another show. But Ozil, Aubameyang, Guendouzi have all had trouble attached to them. They're not there. So Basuma comes. How do you know he's not going to affect the team spirit and the togetherness? Because of if you're as a human being, would you want to be playing with one of your colleagues if he's up for a set like what thing he's up for? I don't know if I would.
I mean, it's just a whole. There's so many different wormholes you can go down. But obviously, at the moment, he's been playing alongside his current, teammates at Brighton for the whole season with this hanging over his head. They've been playing alongside him. Who knows what's been going on?
For a while, mate. Like, they left him out for a good while. Like, it's only the last part of the season. So, and one thing I will say is that obviously we don't know what goes on, but Brighton know. If they were that desperate, like Basuma was one of their best players, apparently. That's what I heard Graham Potter say, Dan Ashworth before he left there. They were doing whatever they could to keep him. Why are they so desperate to get rid now? To me, it feels like, they're holding on to a hot cup and they just want to let it go.
Well, they're still making a big profit on him for what they bought him in for, with a year to go on his contract, and they've got rid of the issues.
But don't get me wrong, I'm not saying he's a bad player, because I'm not saying that at all. But what I think's hanging over their head, there's a player from Manchester who's got something bad hanging over their head, but as a footballer, he was a very good footballer. And
I don't know, I mean, Richard, I don't know whether you know Basuma personally, but I don't know how you know he's not guilty. Hasn't gone through the court of law yet.
Richard the judge then? Okay, cool.
Well, I'm not being funny, but unless you know something, the family personally, or know the person he was supposed to have
unless he's Basuma's
got involved with or something like that. But that's a pretty bold statement to make that you know that he's not guilty.
Good luck to him, though, if he's not guilty. Fair play. Go and play for a team that ain't going to win nothing.
Exactly.
So that's fine.
Exactly, yeah. But it shows his lack of ambition by going to...
It makes me laugh. He says he's an Arsenal fan.
Yeah, well, he was... I'll come to you in a sec now, Steve. I know he was... I know he was very good friends with Pepe, wasn't he? And he was walking hand in hand with Pepe off the pitch, and Pepe was showing him around the Emirates in that game we played them at home. But
why he don't want to come.
Exactly. Pepe's giving him a bad review, so he ain't coming. Put it on TripAdvisor. Yeah. But we'll move on to something else now, Steve. And we've had one signing announced of the youngster, which is good. Marquinhos. He's going to be involved with the squad. He's going to be involved with the squad in the pre-season. So we'll have to see how he gets on in those games. Who knows? Maybe he could do a Martinelli and really surprise and with the manager and everyone involved with the club, with his ability on the ball and ability on the pitch, and he might end up being a big player for us next year. Who knows? But what's your thoughts on this? Because it seems like we've got this relationship now built up with Sao Paulo as a football club, which can only bring positive things in the future, hopefully. I mean, even if we get one superstar from there during the whole relationship that we build up, it's going to be worth it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's 19, so he's obviously one for the future. But who knows? He could get a chance in pre-season. He could, really impress everybody, and he could be an addition to the squad for now, couldn't he? I mean, at 19,
exactly.
19's not young for a footballer to start his career at a Premier League club now, is it? So, if he's good enough, you would think that Arteta would play him. I mean, we've got a lot of young players, and why couldn't he be another one of those? And so it just depends on how he settles. He's in a new country, he's at a new club. He's got a couple of Brazilian players in the squad already, which is obviously going to help with Langer. I don't know if he's got good English or he's got no English at all. So that's going to help him settle in. So yeah, I think one for the future, but who knows? He could turn into one for now, couldn't he? If he's that good, again, 3 million for a 19-year-old is nothing in this day and age, is it? So I'm looking forward to seeing him playing a few games.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I love signings like that come like obviously like the Martinelli signing when he came in as a real youngster, and I've mentioned it loads of times, but his first game against Fiorentina when he lit up the pitch, and it was really exciting. When you get unknowns like that,
They don't play with any
players.
fear, do they? They don't play with any fear, do they? They just want to
No.
play. And you just imagine if he really turned it on and scored a couple of goals. I mean, why not? It's another string to your bow. Just, I'm looking forward to seeing him play. I've not really watched anything on YouTube, so just see how he really plays and blends in with the players that we've got. It's a young side, so that suits very well, doesn't it? So.
Yeah, exactly. It may save us an absolute fortune in the market by replacing Pepe and giving
as well. So
yeah,
he can play on the right, through the middle, and on the left. I've watched tiny bits of him, because I listen to the South American show quite a bit, but it does make me laugh when people say we're buying someone no one knows. But you won't. You won't be saying that if he scores a couple again, like in the Premier League, if he plays. Or at the end of the day, we thought this about Martinelli, mate. You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
But hand on heart, how many people have heard of Tomiyasu before he signed?
Yeah,
really.
Exactly.
I just didn't realise there were so many qualified football managers and agents on social media. But
yeah, exactly. I like the signing. I don't know anything about the guy. I'm not even going to pretend that
I'd be frustrated if that was our only one, but I think realistically, it's not going to be. If anyone says it is, then it's not.
No.
If we only sign one player, I'm coming off Twitter. I'll tell you.
I've been tempted after today, mate.
It's the end of the world. We haven't signed anybody for a day. It's like, well,
and
give it up.
I thought it was the 1st of September today. That's how bad it was. But I'm not going to judge Marquinhos. I think, like you say, he's 19. To see how he does. I know he's joining them for pre-season, isn't he? So that sounds good. And just see what happens. We could have a front three of all Brazilians come out to samba music.
I know. I'd love to get an old team full of Brazilians, to be honest with you.
We've got about 3 Gabriels nearly, so.
Yeah, I know. But, I mean, just having a player called Marquinhos, it's just cool, isn't it? I mean, let's face it, it's cool.
The amount of Arsenal fans at first agreed when they thought it was the PSG one.
Yeah, I know. Well, good luck to the guy. I really hope he does well. I hope I get to see him in person.
I think you will
during the Emirates Cup.
I think we're in Europa League now as well. So
yeah, well, I'm saying I'm going to the Emirates Cup at the end of next month, and that's always a good place to see the signing. Yeah, that'd be good. Hopefully,
I won't see you. I'll hear you. But...
we'll have to go and have a beer. But it's a good place to see the new signings. The
last one I saw at the Emirates Cup was Yaya Sanogo, so I hope he does a bit better.
Did he score 4?
He got 4 that.
Yeah. That's the only thing he does.
That's good. Yeah, exactly. Next thing, George, is getting into some of the rumours. Leno to Fulham. There's 2. I'm actually going to go to 2 here because there's 2 that really make sense. Yeah. This is one that really makes sense to me. That he will go to another London club. He won't be settled in London. Wants to stay in London ideally. It's not probably his ideal club to go to. However, it certainly means that he won't have to move home, won't have to uproot his family again. But it means also when you play for a club like that, you really get to showcase your talents. Because I remember when under Emery, we were facing 30-odd shots a game. his shot stopping was outstanding at that particular point. He was right up in the charts for the amount of shots saved. He's going to get a similar opportunity, I'm sure, at Fulham. So I think it'll be a good move for him, considering he wants to get back into the Germany team. So that seems to fit to me, that rumour. And the next one is Maitland-Niles to Forest. I think that would be a great move for him, to be honest, because they're losing their right back, obviously, that they've had.
They've had an encroacher.
Yeah. Hello, Mrs. Greengrass.
I'm saying hello.
Carry on, sorry.
That's all right. So yes, for those that are listening on the audio version, Steve's wife just joined us, so that's very, very nice.
Goodness,
That's not the next rumour. We're not signing her like this.
No, but yeah, Maitland-Niles to Forest. I think that's a good rumour. I think it'd be a good move for him. They're losing their right back, as I was saying, Jed Spence, so he'll be a Premier League sort of proven young English player that they can bring through, and obviously their manager is outstanding. I think. Steve Cooper, yeah, he's a great manager, and I think he'll bring the best out of Maitland-Niles and give him a bit of a rejuvenation. So those two rumours, to me, I think they make sense.
Yeah,
definitely.
Leno definitely does. He once again, it's the World Cup this year, so he wants to be playing regular to try and challenge Neuer for that number one spot. So, or even that, he's still got to be playing games because otherwise he won't get picked. Simple as that, really. And Fulham, obviously, he's going to be able to showcase his skills and all that. I'm not the greatest, I'm not the biggest fan of Leno. He was a decent keeper. I think that injury at Brighton, since then, I don't think we've seen the Leno what we had before. And then obviously Rambo come in, took his place, and we've not looked back with that from that sense. But it kind of all totals up for me. Don't have to move from London. He's got his family settled over here. He can just get an Oyster card, jump on the train, and you know what I mean? And then with Maitland-Niles, good, because he's got probably one of the worst attitudes of a young English player I can think of.
Wasted talent for us.
Yeah.
And his attitude, if he could sort his attitude out, he's proved it. He's played for it. Well, saying that he's played for England. Some of the people are playing for England at the minute. But on his day, he's been all right. To be fair, he's done a job. He does make me laugh. I don't want to play at right back. First game at Roma, plays at right back.
Exactly. And then he didn't hardly play again.
No, and he ain't good enough to play in midfield. We tried it, and he just isn't. So it's sort of Premier League experience as well for Forest. It's a kind of it's quite a clever signing if you're being real as well. England international. He's
exactly,
young.
Yeah.
He's not that old, is he? 23, 24, if that.
23, I think.
So
might be 24 actually. But
yeah. So
it doesn't matter.
For Leno and Maitland-Niles, good luck with the future. I think it's kind of a bit perfect for them.
Yeah.
I don't wish them any harm or nothing. I don't wish any players harm that leave.
I think with Maitland-Niles, he's had so many opportunities, isn't he, to break into
what do you want to give him?
in different positions, and he
bit
just
like
hasn't
Nelson,
really. Yeah, absolutely. So, and with Leno, I just think Ramsdale's a better all-round keeper. I don't mean just in shot stopping, but I mean distribution and just all-round play really in between the sticks. So for me, Ramsdale's the better keeper, and we signed the American goalkeeper obviously as to come in number 2.
And his experience as well, isn't it? So.
We've got the German youngster Hein, isn't it, who's going to be our number 3.
Yeah.
So there's no room for Leno, is there?
Estonian. Yeah, he's an Estonian international.
You've got Conquer as well.
So there's no room for Leno, is there? So if we can get, 10, 15 mil for him.
I know people will jump on Ramsdale made a few dodgy mistakes towards the end of the season because that's what Twitter do. They highlight.
I don't think he made an awful lot of mistakes as such. It's just that he wasn't quite as sharp and good with his distribution towards the latter stage.
Playing 40 odd games for Bournemouth and Sheffield United, and then playing 40 for a European chasing team is completely different. This just goes back to the Basuma thing. Playing for the central midfield for Brighton and going to, whether we like it or not, someone in the Champions League or around those spots is completely different. Like everyone's jumped on apparently how bad Ben White is. So this is what I hear. This is how I've said this. I can't believe how negative our fans have gone. It's like a roller coaster. But with Leno, like he just there's just no room for him. As horrible as that sounds.
Yeah.
I mean, Ramsdale's played last 2 games for England. He's kept clean sheets, and he was pretty much close to man of the match the other night, wasn't he?
He
Yeah,
was.
that's only against the European champions. Like no one big on that.
No, but I mean,
It's
you
good.
keep a clean sheet, you keep a clean sheet, don't you? So
And
I
he's
mean,
playing
you can only
tonight
do,
as well. So,
yeah, and you know, a couple of those saves he made were pretty top draw, weren't they? So
yeah.
you know, I don't have any problem with Ramsdale
And
staying.
he's got double figures of clean sheets as well. I can't remember the last Arsenal goalkeeper done that, and then someone's probably going to put a comment and say it was Leno or something. But
it was Leno, the last one that kept a clean sheet. Russ Morgan said, "Hi, Russ."
I know.
Hey,
It was
Russ.
Leno against Villa, was not Villa? No.
But yeah, he was in goal
Villa.
against Villa, wasn't he?
Yeah,
Leno.
he saved that. He saved that free kick.
But
Right
once, like you think Ramsdale, what did he have? About 10, 12 clean sheets this season?
12, yeah.
Yeah, that's not far off being one of the best goalkeepers in the league, up there with the City and Liverpool one. So
Things you can debate it, can't you? But the decision's made, isn't it? He's going, and it's just a question of where he goes, isn't it? If he wants to stay in the Premier League, then Fulham's not a bad shout, is it? Really?
No.
I can see him going Fulham. To be fair.
Exactly. I think it's a good move for him. And the one last thing that's good about both of those links as well, if they go through to completion, is that by selling to another Premier League team, we'll get more than if we were to sell them abroad. I think that's a given. I mean, we were talking about 8 million quid for Leno, and they were quibbling over that at Benfica. But I think selling to a club like Fulham, I think we could probably eke a few more million quid out of them. Maybe
plus 10,
push it to the 10 to 12 mark, maybe, and get a decent fee for them.
Yeah.
Oh, Hungary has scored.
Oh, have they?
Yeah.
Oh,
good going on. Yeah, so I mean, but I think with
that was us talking about Ramsdale with his clean sheet.
Yeah,
you bonkers on it, haven't we? Unfortunately. But I think that's a done deal, isn't it? Goalkeeper situation. We've got 3 goalkeepers, and one of them is not Leno.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, Leno plays.
I've got no bad feelings towards Leno whatsoever. He's a good goalkeeper for us throughout the time he's been with us. I don't think you can count the bad mistakes he's made maybe on one hand. He's never really let us down at all.
Oh, the player that done my head in. I'm not going to lie with that. Like,
I know.
That was really frustrating.
I know, but overall, I think he was an overall positive for the club. I think in a lot of ways, he was a good goalkeeper.
Really.
So I wish him all the best. A couple more links that I wanted to sort of talk about. I'm going to skip a couple forward that I've written down on the list. I'm going to go to Jared Bowen, which was quite an interesting link because I've always liked him. I think I remember saying once that if you pick him out of that West Ham team, which he's done brilliantly in, by the way, but if you take him out of that team and put him into a team like Liverpool, I think he'd be absolutely brilliant, to be honest. I think he'd sort of fit into Liverpool's system like a hand in glove, to be honest, and he'll bring the best out of him when the extra chances and the extra quality around him, I think, would show. Yeah. So I think it's quite an interesting one. I don't know how seriously I take it at all because West Ham selling to us, it would cost us an absolute fortune for a player that's, I think he got something like 18 goals, 13 assists, something like that off the top of my head last season. I think it'd be a really good signing, but I just don't see it happening. And also, would you buy a player of that sort of quality and that expense that generally plays in the same position as our best player, Bukayo Saka? I mean, it'd be a weird one for me. It'd be similar to the link of Rafinha as well, who they both mainly play on the right of a front three. And I just think it's a strange thing to do to actually buy a specific player for that role when you've got your best player at the club in Bukayo Saka playing in that position? I know we need cover for him, but would you spend that much money on a player like either of those two to actually play as a backup for Bukayo Saka? I mean, Steve, what do you think?
No, I don't think you would, really. I don't think you would. We've got other players that we could use in that sort of support role. I mean, could Reece Nelson still be that player? You know, I mean, he's going to come back, and would he be that backup right-sided player? I mean, I don't think Bowen gives us anything better than what we've got already, and he doesn't improve us. So, I'd like to see one of the younger players develop, really, other than Bowen, or another youngster coming in who's maybe a little bit more developed than what we've got already.
Yeah, it's a funny one because they're both really good players. I'd love them to be in the squad, but I just think it's a bit of a strange target to have when neither of them you would say are like strikers who can play down the middle. I'd be much more happy if they played, a season or so actually in that role down the middle. But I don't think either of them would fit that striking position. So I think it's a bit of a strange link for both of them. What do you think, George?
I was going to say similar. The only way it kind of works is if Bowen plays where he played for Hull City, and that was down the middle. But he wasn't. Obviously, you're seeing the better of Jared Bowen in the position that he's playing where Saka would play. I get people say, "Oh, you need strength and depth, good players for each position," but that's when you're in the Champions League. Like, would you go and spend 70 million? Because that's how much it'll cost.
Yeah,
if not more, to go and bring someone in to compete against Saka. I don't think we will, personally.
No.
I'd love Bowen. I've always liked Bowen, even when he was at Hull. When West Ham signed him, I said to a few of my mates and family, I went, he's going to be a player. Give him a year and prove me right. So, I don't think they're going to spend that amount of money when there's two spots in that team that need that sort of money. And that's
we've got the striker
and the centre forward.
Yeah, I mean, until we got the striker situation finalised, and that could cost, that sort of money plus, couldn't it?
Yeah.
So you wouldn't want to spend that money on a wide player that you don't really need.
Well, realistically,
on a quality centre forward.
So we could be spending 90 million on a striker and a midfielder. So
yeah,
I just think that because Stan, my Stan, has joined us as well, and he said that it's a replacement for Pepe, which I agree. It's obvious that sort of situation, but Pepe don't play, and he don't play for a reason. We don't want
to keep Bowen on the bench.
No, exactly. We don't. I mean, he doesn't play because our best player is in that role at the moment. Maybe they've got their Saka earmarked for something else in the team. At the moment, though, the way he's playing, I doubt it. So you can't spend another 70 odd million, like you said, which I think it would cost. I think you're right, to buy another replacement for Pepe when Pepe can't get in the team.
Yeah, this is the argument as well. So we're talking about Bowen. So if you believe the talks from the journalists, which I don't, but Rafinha, the reason he's not so sure is because he doesn't want to play backup to Saka.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So and that's Rafinha. Like, no offense, that's Rafinha, and you're telling me, and that's someone who's playing for a team who's just avoided relegation. So for someone who's in Europe still and in the England squad, I don't know, unless he changes the formation completely, I don't know. Arteta, no one knows what Arteta's going to do apart from Arteta, I think. But I don't see Saka's position changing. So I don't know. When I heard that rumour, I thought, yeah, just add that to the list.
It doesn't sit right, does it? It just doesn't make sense.
Not for me.
I
could only see that happening as if Saka went to City.
Yeah, but that ain't happening anytime soon, is it?
No.
So, I mean, you've got
Saka
and Smith Rowe, to play in those wide positions. One other would be more than enough, wouldn't it? Two per position.
Yeah.
So, we may, depending on what happens with Nketiah, we probably need to buy 2 strikers, so we could be spending 100 million plus on 2
I think
strikers.
we need 2 strikers anyway.
And then
but
you
I
add
think
in
we'll
the
get more.
creative midfield player or midfield player.
Yeah.
That's 150 million right there, isn't it?
Yeah.
See, Rafinha, I would take as a backup though, because I think it adds to strength and depth.
The thing is, though, with the Brazilian players, and I've heard
Yeah, we've
Tim
got
Stillman say
28 of
this.
them, haven't we? So
Well, no, I mean, Brazilian players put playing for Brazil above playing for their club sides. They're the one
Yeah.
nation, really, that do. It's really, really important to them. And with the World Cup coming up, there's no way they're going to want to risk warming a bench somewhere to risk losing their place for the Brazil squad in the World
I think it
Cup.
worries me with all these
It won't
Brazilians.
happen.
There's a Copa America, we're screwed.
Mm,
The
Yeah,
amount of Brazilians we've got.
yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
But that's the risk you take. With the same when you buy a lot of African players, isn't it? You potentially lose them for African nations. So, but
No,
I
and
mean,
you think
it'd be a weird-
Basuma, he would have gone to the African Cup of Nations, so that would have been someone else that we could have lost.
yeah. So
It's
you
just
know.
that we don't know what what factors they have, but I think I do think they'll try and bring someone in, because I think Pepe's gone personally, but I think they'll try and bring someone in, but I'm not sure who. But this is what Arsenal do, like you were saying, Steve. At the end of the day, I'd say majority of Arsenal fans slagged them off when they signed Ramsdale. They've been shut up about that. When they signed Tomiyasu, they didn't have a clue who he was. Like, no one really did. And
The Conga.
Yeah, Lokonga. Oh, right, people might say he's still thin, but the positions he was put in, like, he's a kid trying to develop. He was thrown in at the deep end. Same with Tavares. And then when we were signing Erdegaard, there was people saying, "Oh, maybe we should have bought Maddison instead."
Yeah, and I think with the Conga and Tavares in their defence, they weren't purchased to be first-team players straight from the off, were they?
No.
And because of injuries, they've had to sort of learn really quick, haven't they? And unfortunately, Tavares, he's sort of been less effective. But you can't fault his energy and his enthusiasm to play the game.
No,
He's just not learned how to play the game yet.
I think we'll bring in 5 players. I've said it the whole summer.
Yeah.
Arsenal don't do things early. Like, I've been an Arsenal fan for over 20 years. I think that the only time and you might want to correct me, the only time I remember is bringing in people early, and I think it was in the after the 2002 World Cup when we signed Inamoto, Sol Campbell, and I can't remember who the other player was, but that's the only time I remember us bringing in people really early.
Yeah. It's always, thing is, though, it's more important than ever. We've said this on recent shows, sorry.
Yeah.
That to bring players in early this season because of the early start.
No, I agree.
If we basically, I think the transfer window shuts on the 1st of September.
Yeah.
We start on the 6th of August. We could be playing. I wish I could get the calendar up, but maybe 8 or 9 games at least between the 6th of August and the end of the transfer window. And if about four league games,
we would have had 4 league games.
Well, we know what happened in the beginning of last season. We lost the first 3 league games. We cannot afford to do that again.
But if we got to the start of the season, mate, and I'm just saying these names because they've been linked with, and just say we've brought in Aaron Hickey, Tielemans, and Jesus, and Marquinhos. For me, that's a good start. And then I'm hearing stuff about Zinchenko as well. So if we brought him in, it's what we need. Like, and everyone forgets Saliba's coming in, so that's like a new signing. So,
and we have a lot of games next season. I mean, you've got the Europa League games. They're up in the substitutes to 5, so everybody's going to get more minutes.
So you've got to have a bigger squad.
You've got to have a bigger squad. And we've still got players to move out, like, Maitland-Niles. I mean, Torreira really weird one. I mean, if Torreira could be happy in London, he would suit us down to the ground right now, wouldn't he?
Yeah, I know. With Stan said that earlier. I think he could still add a lot of value.
It's a shame because I really liked him.
I think so as well. I really liked him. He obviously was ruined when Emery tried to play him in the number 10 position. Then he broke his ankle, didn't he, playing under Arteta?
Yeah.
And that was the beginning of the end for him. And but he doesn't want to live in England, does he? He doesn't want to play.
I think that's the reason. It's not he doesn't want to play for us. He just doesn't want to play in England or be in England.
I think he settled in Italy, but Fiorentina, like Arsenal, Arsenal have got a disdain for Fiorentina because of how they treated us with Vlahovic. So, and then they keep messing around with Torreira as well. So,
apparently, it's to do with the agents' fees. I heard on the Askcast earlier on today. Apparently, it's the agents' fees that the Fiorentina owner has got a real problem with working with agents, and the agents demanding so much extra on top.
He didn't have a problem with Vlahovic, did he?
Because we had an agreement for 15 million last summer. After the end of a successful loan spell, they were going to pay 15 million. They're reneging on that deal now and trying to make it less because of the agents' fees. So that's the holdback on that. But I've got a new someone I don't recognise in the chat. Welcome, Tom VI79, and he said people laugh at Inamoto, but he has more Premier League medals than Gerrard, which made me smile.
Right, Tom.
That made me smile. So yeah, welcome. Thanks very much for watching.
Did we see the quote going to Phil? Somebody put a post on about Arsene Wenger coming out of retirement and won more trophies than Harry Kane has in his career.
Yeah, exactly. That's right. Yeah. Stan the Man said we brought Paul Allen in very early, but then sold him before the season started. That was funny.
Clive Allen, a bit before my time, Stan, to be fair.
Clive Allen, yeah. He never actually played for us, did he?
Clive Allen, yeah, you're right. It was Clive Allen. No, he didn't.
We've been wearing the shirt, and then we swapped it for Kenny Sanson, didn't we?
Yeah, that's right. Yann Villa and Draxler are still coming to Stan.
Yeah, well. Benzema's plane's on the tarmac still, isn't it? Yeah.
And
Villa. When's Villa turning up? He's turning up soon, isn't he?
That's what he just said. Yeah, Stan said.
Wow, what have he done?
Julian Draxler as well, and Higuain.
We're going to be signing players we've never heard of. You know that, don't you?
Yeah.
You really know that, don't you?
And Russ Morgan said Lucas Podolski was signed in April as well. That's
what player he was. Fantastic.
That's one player, though, mate.
I loved him. Yeah, I liked Lucas Podolski.
We could do with him now.
He was playing mostly on the left, though, wasn't he? And didn't like it.
Him. But what I'm saying, what my point was, on the whole, Arsenal don't ever do all their business.
No, they don't.
About 2 or 3 weeks before, they always wait, and that's when we miss out on players. And I have the same problem. You probably get sick of me saying it, mate. Is our board don't care. Like, they do what they want to do when they want and how they want. Like, if they really wanted us to get back to the levels we've got, they've got the money to put on these players, and they don't. Like, they'd say to City, right, there's your 60 million, Jesus done, there's whatever done. But they're all trying to penny pinch all the time. So,
but isn't there an element of the player's got to want it as well, though? Just because we want to sign him for whatever price, he's got to want it, hasn't he? And it might be that he's not 100%, and maybe the Champions League not qualifying, that could tip the balance with some of these players.
So a friend of mine says, we're eating at a different table. We're not eating, if we've got Champions League, then all right, fair enough. But it's all right selling the project to these players. But if they, like Darwin Núñez, I've heard that sort of thing. Like, he was linked with Liverpool and Man United. There was no way he was going to Man United ahead of, say, someone like a Liverpool. And it doesn't happen.
Brighton tried to buy him for 35 million last summer, didn't they? Which would have been a turn up for the books.
If you're a top player now, would you want to go to Man United?
No.
I
mean, that's the mess there.
Too much in and out. Too much rubbish there.
It's making yes and no, because there's certain players that they're being linked with now, which were obviously the previous Ajax players like Frankie de Jong and players like that, Matthijs de Ligt.
So I'll take him at Arsenal. De Jong.
Oh yeah, all day long. All day long. Yes, I'm a poet and I don't know it.
Yeah,
if you were one of those players, then yes, you'd want to go and work under the new manager, because he's obviously trying to make a complete rechange of the squad. So that makes sense. But for other players, then no, it's a
This is
shit
what
show.
my argument today was. So I was having this disagreement with people because they're saying, "Oh, everyone around us is strengthening." Not everyone isn't. Like Liverpool, Man City have strengthened. They're not around us. We're nowhere near that level. I don't see Man United bought anyone yet, unless I'm wrong.
Who's Chelsea bought?
Yeah, Chelsea. That's what I said. Chelsea, West Ham, Tottenham have bought one player. All right, two players. They bought Perisic, who's about 40, and he or something, and
He's up 18 now,
Forster and now Basuma and probably Spence. Fair enough. They're doing what they've got to do, but I don't care about them. They're Tottenham. They're not going to win nothing. But the people we're eating at the same table as the Man United and West Ham, because you have to say West Ham because that's where they finished 7th, didn't they? Or even Chelsea, they've not bought anyone. And people must say, "Oh, because
they
they're
can't." They can't yet, can they? I mean,
I think they can.
Lukaku wants out, doesn't he? He wants to go back.
Yeah, they can buy now because obviously the owner's gone through.
Is it officially all the funds and everything officially gone through?
Yeah, it's all through now.
Well, Tom's asked me to ask Andrew, ask Georgie Boy about Eddie Nketiah with 14 on his back.
So this is one of my best friends, Tom, who I go football with, and when we take the mick out of each other about Eddie, but I've said, "Oh, Eddie's going to get 14 on the back of his top, score 10 to 15 league goals, and then everyone will be saying he's the saviour." But it's all more tongue in cheek, really.
Yeah,
because we're waiting for the meltdown when Eddie 14 when he signs the new deal.
And Stan saying bashing the owners is tired and lazy. Sorry, hang on a second.
How is it? How is that tired and lazy?
They've given the manager over 200 million, and more funds are being made available. Do you know what?
The manager's inexperienced.
No, but in lots of ways, and I've said this again on previous shows. I do agree with Stan at the moment. I'm not saying that they are the ideal the owners of the club and everything, and they've still got a hell of a lot to prove to me and to every other fan, especially after all the Super League debacle and all that sort of stuff. But since they have taken over 100% in 2018, they have done a lot of things right. They're not perfect. They've still done some things wrong. Not like I say, definitely the Super League stuff and all that, but they are trying to make things a bit better from what I can see. But they are providing a lot of money. We spent the most in Europe last summer. Maybe not to everyone's taste, but you can't please everyone. But at the moment, this summer is going to prove an awful lot because we need an awful lot doing to this squad. We are really short of players. We do need probably at least 5 to. I think I saw Gary in the chat earlier say we need 5 to 8 players because of to be able to be able to compete on all fronts next season in 4 competitions. And I do agree with him. So the writing's on the wall for them this summer if things don't go to plan. But at the moment, I do think that it's a bit strange. Keep bashing owners over and over again at the moment when things are going a little bit better right now.
Let me ask you a question then. So I'm a fan of Arteta, as people know. So if the owners are that great, why didn't they have more ambition than to offer the job to someone who's never managed before?
Because they believe in him.
They believe in him.
Yeah, but if he
gives a good fight, he talks a good fight. I would imagine in an interview he'd blow people away, wouldn't he?
And people like Pep believe in him. People across football believe in him, and they were talking about him as a great coach before he came anywhere near Arsenal. So they believe in him, and the same as a lot of us fans believe in him right now.
I think the thing is that we don't know. Nobody knows.
A massive risk.
Yeah, but nobody knows what players we're actually looking at, really.
No.
We talk about Tielemans, we talk about, Jesus, we talk about lots of players, but nobody really knows if we're definitely not interested in those players or actually tabled any sort of bids whatsoever.
I'm an Arteta fan. I'm not going to sit and say I'm not. but
No, absolutely, yeah.
I think
I'm 100% behind it. 100%
yeah, I
behind it.
think the owners, because they spent 150 million in that one transfer. I'm sorry, like when you hear those numbers years ago, that's a lot of money. Now, that's not
That's
really.
one player, isn't it? Some
Yeah,
clubs
like
one
I
player.
think Arsenal need about 500-600 million work on that squad at that time. Like Man United probably needs similar. So the money, that sense, don't really fin with me. But what I'm saying with the board, they've done it one transfer window. If they, so say we go into August and we've bought, I don't know, Danny Ings, just for example. But what my argument is, there's going to be fans that'll be like, oh, well, Arteta didn't want that person. Why? As long as I know, the only person who had a manager that had that much power was Wenger, unless I'm wrong.
Well, Ferguson, but that's it,
Yeah,
isn't it?
I'm not. They have a lot to prove to me, the owners.
Like I said, they've got a lot to prove to everyone still, but they are doing things better. They're not the right way, but better now. And I noticed that James, welcome along, James. Thanks for watching. Saying that they have spent money, but they've spent it they spent it terribly and given it to absolute wrong ones, and that was the case.
Yeah.
Earlier on, when they had Raoul there and people like that, but they are.
Well, I think
they do seem to be learning from those mistakes. They don't seem to be making too many mistakes now.
I'm not that keen on Edu, if I'm honest.
Well, again, this is his summer. I was a lot more encouraged after last summer. I was a lot more encouraged after last summer, though, George. And this summer, he's got it all to do again. You know, and if he pulls off another summer like last summer,
then I'll hold my hands up.
Exactly, yeah. So it's a bit early, but last summer he went a long way to showing me that he actually knows what he's doing. He's made the right decisions in getting rid of a load of players, even though we've had to pay them off. We needed to get them out of the club in lots of cases.
I think we're still feeling the after effects after, is it Raoul?
Yeah, exactly.
And the mess he left us in, and some people won't have it, but we was a disgrace. There weren't much difference between us and United at that time, to be fair. Like, wasn't Ozil on these 400 or 350 grand a week doing nothing basically? Then so don't get me wrong, I think Arteta and all that's changed a lot. I think we're more of a family-run club now, and it's positive. Most of the time, it's positive until you go on social media. But Arsenal have never been unless I'm wrong, but Arsenal have never been a team that throw money at everything.
No.
So,
and I don't think they ever will be. And I mean, Stan's sorry, no, it wasn't Stan. It was, Gary said, but someone said no to Arthur Mello deal, and it wasn't Edu and Mikel, right? But if that was the right thing to do, that was the right thing to do because
it was like a 2.5 year loan deal, wasn't it?
Exactly, yeah, or a strict obligation to buy.
Yeah,
and they didn't want to sign up for that. And you can't.
They don't fit into what the thing. Like they obviously, this is what it goes back to Basuma. Like Arteta knows what players he wants. Whether people agree with it or not, that's by the by. You're not. None of us are the managers. Like we could, if we was, then we'll be making other decisions.
They've got a profile of the type of player they want now.
That's the word I was trying to fit the word
profile. And the Williams of this world that we've had before and other sort of players, they don't fit that profile, so they won't even be considered. So Basuma probably doesn't fit the profile because of his history, possibly. And because there's a doubt there, Guendouzi is another one. Potentially he's a fantastic player, but he's got a bad attitude. So he's not part of the process, is he? So
no. So they made some good decisions.
And El Neni, El Neni's a typical sort of Arsenal player now because all he wants to do is play for the badge. He play for free, doesn't he?
You've got most of the players that play for our squad now. I'd probably say there's only been 2 or 3 that have played like they don't really want to be there.
And little things like Ed Stan's mentioned there. Edu could have got Marquinhos for 0. He paid Sao Paulo 3 mil to forge a close relationship. That's smart. So that is good business. But James has said I just dislike the penny pinching, Andrew. We've cleared the decks in a January that cost us our season goal to go big this summer. I like all the links, but sometimes you just have to throw the money. I totally
I
agree
do
with you,
agree
James.
with that. Yeah.
I
Well,
totally
that
agree with you
season's
on
goal.
that.
What was the season's goal? What was the season's goal? To
To
get back
get
into
top
Europe.
four.
To get back
Yeah, I
into
mean,
Europe.
yeah, I mean, yeah. I mean, as the season progressed,
Where we
obviously
were. What was the
that's
goal?
things that slightly changed. Which quite rightly it changed as well because of where
Yeah,
we were.
absolutely.
But
But really, the first goal was to get into Europe, and we've done that.
yeah, but
So
I do agree with James on everything you just said there because I'm not saying, I'm not claiming they're perfect. I'm just trying to say that I do think that in some circumstances it's wrong just to keep saying they're shit. We need them out of our club and blah blah. They do need to give credit where credit is due. Now
could
I'm that kind of person. I am.
yeah. So
Absolutely.
Steve, what would your goal be this season?
Well, the goal this season is to go one better. You know,
Okay.
the goal this season has to be Champions League, and really, we're in 3 cups now. Why can't we win a cup this season with our squad?
Yeah, so that's what I've said. So that's what I
You know,
mean. So you've got
Champions
to
League
buy
would be
players
great.
to.
Yeah, Champions League would be
Yeah.
great. And if we're down to the last game of the season again, we're still a shout top 4. That's a good position to be in, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I really, really desperately want us to win the Europa League. I know it
Yeah.
sounds. I would love us to get another piece of European silverware after so many years of not reaching that goal. I know it's not the Champions League. Alexa, shut up.
Champions League. At the end of the day, only one team can win the Champions League, like any trophy.
Yeah, but I think it's a realistic goal, and I would love us to get a European
But
trophy.
there's no reason why not. If we like, I know people say these players, well, they can't be. If these players want to get rid of them, I've said it all along. Tielemans is perfect fit for Arsenal because he allows Erdegaard to do his magic and not have to worry about that. So if you have Partey and Tierney fit, if you do, but if you don't, you bring the players
Big
in.
arse, isn't it?
Yeah, but you got. If we need Premier League experience, we've got some of the best youngsters in the country. So you mix that in with, say, like a Jesus and a Tielemans, or even a Zinchenko or a Rafinha, Hickey. For me, that's a decent.
Hickey seems to be on the cards,
Yeah.
doesn't he?
So he's
the right
19,
age, yeah.
but he's still a great player. I've watched him play for Scotland, and
Full
I'd
international.
have him as cover.
Yeah, so he's the right age again, isn't he? He's the right temperament.
And then Saliba, wherever he's going to fit in, and like you said, Returner, this is what makes me laugh with. I don't like generalising. I say some Arsenal fans. When we was doing so well, there was Arsenal fans saying, "Oh, that we can get third." Then we lose a few games, and then it's like, "Oh, this team's rubbish. If we don't do nothing, we're going to finish 8th." What? It's like a Thorpe Park roller coaster.
Yeah. Do you know what my advice is though? Just don't take too much notice of it, mate, because just keep your own opinions to your.
This is day one of the transfer. I mean, it's not, but it's day one, isn't it? Day 1, day 2.
Yeah.
Not started.
Exactly.
No, we ain't signed Messi yet. I don't know what that's about. I don't know.
Oh no. Well, the thing is, in all seriousness, I really want us to get some business done. The main.
I do think we will.
As soon as possible, because of everything we've got coming up next month.
Well, from what I was reading, apparently Tielemans, they're pressing for that to be done by the end of this month. So if that's true, then that's something more positive than. And like international break finishes, is it tonight?
Tonight is the last game tonight.
Yeah, so this is what I keep trying to say to people. Like, the players we're going for are on international duty.
Yeah. So they're not really talking about contracts and negotiations.
No disrespect. I don't think Perisic and Basuma, I don't know if Perisic still plays for Croatia, he might do, but I know Basuma wasn't really involved for Mali. So these people are still playing international. So wait till next week. Then they have a week's holiday, don't they? And then if we signed 4 players in July, I don't really care. But as long as we sign them before the start of the season.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, we'll get the players that we want. We don't know who they are, but we've got an idea of a couple of them, and we'll get those players.
I do agree with what you said as well. We'll probably sign someone that no one's heard of.
Yeah, well, probably, but you know, I think it's a squad game now. They want more.
Yeah.
They need some squad. Not everybody can play in the first team, can they? So
No.
you need players that can come in and do 20 minutes. You know, if you look at, we're not in a position where we can have a team like City where you've got, you know,
No,
a bench of full internationals and full internationals behind them. You know.
Yeah.
So even, you know, even someone like Jack Grealish doesn't start every week for City, does he? You
Yeah, and
know?
he was 100 million, and we get
And he's
told we
100
spent a
million,
lot
you
of
know,
money.
and Haaland coming in. I mean, you know, he's going to want to play every week, and he'll have to play every week, won't he? But
Yeah.
you know, that frees up Jesus to go somewhere else, and I think
Even like Liverpool, they have Diaz, Jota, Firmino, Salah,
they're
and
losing
now
Mane. They're
Nunes.
losing Mane, aren't they? Looks
Yes,
like
but one of them won't be able to play all the time, and like I just think we have to just be patient. As someone said on Twitter today, I don't see what the difference is signing a player on the 1st of June or the 1st of July. I don't see what the difference is.
No.
As long
all
as
these
they're
players
signed before the season.
they're negotiating with all these players as we speak. It's not as if they're signed negotiations today. They've been talking about these players for weeks, if not months. And
the thing is, we won't know who signed or even the rumours, because all these other clubs get rumours and they have their little leaks of their supposed ITKs. Arsenal do not have that, because when Wenger was there, he banned all that. Even David Ornstein and all that, he cut all the contact out of that. And he was talking about it.
We just have to wait and see.
Yep.
Marquinhos is going to win us the title. There you go.
You just imagine it, £3 million player like that, and he turned. You know,
imagine the scenes. Scores the winner in the North London derby to get the title or something.
What a markup when he goes for 100 million to City in 2 years' time, you know? Or Madrid or Barcelona
in a Haaland swap deal.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, you got Haaland for 100 million. We got Marquinhos for 3 million.
It'll be a Nuno Tavares assist as well. That'd be great.
With Eddie getting the golden boot.
Yeah. And then Tom's put Eddie at the wheel.
Yeah, see, Eddie's at the wheel. I'm glad.
When he's put, where was it? When I can't remember who it was. Let me just quickly scroll back up. Saying when Twitter, Twitter's really quiet. It was Tom actually. Yeah, when we're doing well, Twitter was quiet. When we lose, they all come out from under the rocks. They hiding behind. Which is exactly true. Yeah. Which is why that's why the block button's there.
Yeah, I've actually had to do that today because I've been abused. So that was why I was a tiny bit late, because apparently when you have a difference of opinion, they have to bring your disability into it.
Yeah, so, you don't need people like that on your timeline, man. That's for sure.
So I just blocked them. So
no, that's disgusting.
Yeah,
don't blame you. And you should name and shame those types of people as well.
I can't pronounce the name, mate. That's the problem. It was it had like I think it was like a Mali or some other African country's flag, and then with my voice over it sounded really weird, and then like emoji smiley face, and it had TFC. So I don't know if they're meant to be a Tottenham fan or something, but I just I blocked it, deleted. I didn't even give them the time. It does upset me when I get that, but it's.
I think with Twitter, it's anonymous, isn't it? You don't know who these people really are.
I've had it a couple of times. Like Andrew's seen it before, like where people said, "Oh, you shouldn't be allowed to go out and stuff." But just because I'm blind, that all right. Just if that's how intelligent you are, like just okay.
Yeah, exactly. And James has put no amount of Clive voiceovers, new or retro kits, and North London Forever is going to cover for the lack of business.
James
currently.
Loves that song.
Fans are biding for blood. He said, "Yeah, no, that's right. I love that song as well. I think it's brilliant. I really hope it's here to stay.
To be fair,
yeah, I really hope it's here to stay. I really do."
Brilliant song.
And where are we?
But on the whole, I think we're all united again. Like really, as a fan, most of the fan base. Like there's a few, but as this is what I mean. Like you see the negativity now, but when Tielemans or Jesus sign, it'll be all right, and they'll be built up so high that they're going to be the new, and that's the problem with me.
Thing is, once you sign someone like Tielemans, the next tweet is, "Well, who's next?"
Yeah. Like having Goldberg from WWE on, you're next. Right?
It's like, or one's not enough. We signed 5 players. 5's not enough. We need 8.
No, and this is the problem. Like, even if we sign, like, the names I give, like Hickey, even if we got Sinchenko, even if we bought Gnabry back or Rafinha or whoever, if we bought in 5 or 6, they'll be like, yeah, but we still need someone else. Or we still need, like, everyone bands on about Jed Spence. I tell you guys, he's had a very, very good season in the Championship. Let's see, but from one I've watched, Max Aarons did. He didn't do much in the Premier League, but in 15 to 18 months, there's an Arsenal player called Cuthby Norton, who is for me as good now.
Oh yeah, I think he is.
So I'm not bothered if Spurs get him. So because we've got Brooks, so
it would have cut the progression to the first team for Brook Norton Cuffy, and I think he could be in line for some Europa League minutes this year.
Yeah, I do as well. Unless he goes on a loan deal, but if he goes on a loan deal to something like a Championship or even a Premier League club, which you never know, but even a Championship club like Smith Rowe did, I'm all for that.
We've got still got to do something. We've still got to do something with Bellerin as well, haven't they? Because he's asked.
Well, we might be all right because apparently they're trialing to get rid of throw-ins and doing kick-ins. Apparently, so you might not.
Well, no, that was me. That was me that suggested that.
It's actually come out now. Apparently, Wenger's proposed
You're joking?
it from FIFA. No.
Me and Arsene Wenger, we're connected by mind. I'll tell you.
It's come out on Twitter and then it was on BBC Sport. They're actually going to trial it sometime this year. Actually, to kick it in instead of throwing it. Because then
get some distance on that, wouldn't you?
I've always said that. I think it's just a weird that I said it on the show on
Bellerin. I love it, wouldn't
he? Yeah, well, I just think it's weird that you actually have throw-ins in football. Because it's football. Yeah. But I think it should be, this is my suggestion, that you split the pitch into 3 quarters. That's 3 quarters. into thirds. Into thirds. But when the ball goes out in one of the thirds, you can only kick it into that third. So you're not launching. So don't get teams launching it into the box every single time to get it.
Scoring from a kick in.
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, I wasn't taking it seriously. It was just an unserious suggestion. But that's weird. But that's come out now.
My friend Abdi actually put in the sports group what we have. So I was like, "Are you taking the mick?" And then I went and read up on it, and apparently Wenger's proposed it.
Wow. Well, he obviously watches the podcast, which is great.
Andrew Wenger.
Like to hear that he watches the podcast. But anyway, good place to leave it anyway there. But thank you to everyone that's been in the chat today. It's been really good and loads of comments, and it's been great to read them all. Please give us a like before you leave. I really appreciate it. Obviously, as you know, with every single show you watch and listen to, they're always banging on about likes because it does actually help you get suggested to other fans of the club so they can watch your content as well. So that'd be really appreciated. So if you do that before we go, and if you haven't done so already, give us a subscribe. But thank you very much, Steve. It's been great to have you on the channel. Hope to see you again soon.
Yeah. Just send an invite. I'm sure I can do it.
Fantastic. Be great. And thank you again, George.
Cheers,
great to see you again, mate.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It has been a while. So, and maybe we can meet up for that beer next month. Are you going to the Emirates Cup, Steve?
Not yet, mate. If I can get tickets, I'll see what I can do. But yeah, be nice to see our new signings play.
Exactly, yeah. Apparently, I think there's still quite a few tickets available.
Marquinhos would be good, mate.
Yeah. He'll just be rinsing everyone on the pitch.
He's supposed to be really quick, isn't he? Apparently.
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah, like I say, I reckon he's going to be a bit similar to Nuno. Exciting, but have flaws and be raw. But that's good. That's there to be coached. Just there to be coached into the player. So,
what did Wenger say? We don't buy stars, we make them.
Yeah, exactly, mate. Right, we'll leave it there, and I'll speak to you all soon next week. And have a good week, and speak to you then. Bye bye.
Yeah, mate. Take care. See you later.
Bye bye.